Tade got the shock of his life when he entered the said room and saw who he least expected to see there and what it is the person was doing. The person in the room was Fola. Fola was singing. It made the headlines the next day on different newspapers. Tayo Durojaye Williams, the con artist. Tayo Durojaye Williams, a liar with no talent. Tayo Durojaye deceived her fans. It went on and on. TV stations and blogs spoke about it. Tayo hid at home due to the shame and embarrassment. Her mother, on the other hand, was angry and threw Fola out in the streets. Mrs. Durojaye Williams tried to use her influence to sue the organizers of the show and the technical people, but her lawyer advised her against it, telling her that it was a bad move which would make things worse for Tayo. Unlike every other person in the event who was enjoying the lovely music and the angelic voice of the pretty young lady singing, Tade was not. He was lost in deep thoughts and is unhappy. A few minutes from now, there is going to be an announcement that has to do with him. His parents called it the big announcement and have been talking about it all day, even before they got to the venue of the event. They were going to make an official announcement to everyone at the event that Tade is engaged to the pretty young lady who is singing and that they will be getting married in 3 months. The name of the pretty young lady singing is Tayo Durojaye Williams. Now, Tayo is not just some mere random singer or musician. She is a popular celebrity with many hit albums and singles to her name. She is said to be the top female musician. She is also the daughter of a very wealthy and influential family known as the Durojaye Williams. The Durojaye Williams family is a wealthy billionaire family with many multi-million naira companies, one of which is a music record label, and their daughter Tayo is their major music artist. Tayo is only not just beautiful, she also got an exceptionally beautiful voice. Her voice was pleasant to both male and female, and the young and old as well. Because of how good and successful Tayo was in the music industry, many young upcoming female musicians saw her as their role model. In this story, she is described as the goddess of R&B music. However, despite how beautiful Tayo is, how well she sings, being many young people's fan, and how successful she is, Tade does not like Tayo and he is not interested in her, but he is in love with Fola, Tayo's half older sister. Before now, like every other person does, Tade had fallen in love with Tayo's voice and her music. He admired her so much. Her voice and her songs helped him relax and stay calm whenever he is exhausted and tensed. And so, one day when his father, Chief Bamidele, called him and told him that he would like for Tade to marry Tayo, so that Tayo's father would help his shaky business, as that was the condition the Durojayes gave, that their children Tade and Tayo should marry before they would render the help Chief Bamidele requested of them, and so to also foster a strong business alliance between them. Tade decided to give it a chance. Tade Bamidele is a professional artist who loves to paint. His father, Chief Bamidele, had been disappointed at Tade a few years back When Tade told him that he wanted to be an artist despite being a graduate of pharmacy, as that has been his dream and passion since he was a teenage boy. Chief Bamidele owns a multi-million naira pharmaceutical company, and he had hoped that Tade, being his first son, would take over and take charge of the business after him. But that did not happen. "You can at least do this one thing for me and help my struggling company and compensate for abandoning the family business," Chief Bamidele told Tade that day. And Tade accepted to date Tayo and looked forward to marry her, not really because of what his father had said to him, but because he chose to give it a try, because he loves Tayo's voice, her personality, and her songs. But that was before Tade learned that he was mistaken and realized how really rude and heartless Tayo is, and that she's a different person with different personality from the personality she portrays to the public and her fans. One day, Tade was on his way to an office where he would be meeting with an important foreign tourist to discuss his forthcoming arts exhibition when his car broke down. He tried to find out what the issue with the car was and to fix it, but he wasn't able to. He was running really late, so he picked up his mobile phone and called his mechanic to come fix the car. Immediately his mechanic arrived, Tade left his car with him because he was already so late and could not wait any longer. He clicked on the taxi app on his mobile phone to order for a taxi ride, but all the available taxis were a bit far from his location, and even if he chose to wait for the closest one, he would still miss the tourist. Desperate and left with no other option, Tade decided to board a local commuter bus, popularly called Danfo in Nigeria. "Uncle, oya o, pay your money," the bus conductor said to Tade in pidgin English, asking him to pay his fare for the bus ride after they had gone a bit far. Tade dipped his hands into his pants pockets to bring out his wallet and pay his fare, but he noticed that he could not find it. He checked the pocket on the other side of his pants and still did not find his wallet. Then he remembered that he must have left it in his car and had forgotten to pick it up before leaving his car with his mechanic. My guy, abeg no vex so, but e be like say I forget my wallet for inside my car wey break down for the place from where I take enter this bus. E mean say no money with me now, but abeg no be intentional," Tade tried to explain to the bus conductor, praying in his mind and hoping that the bus conductor would understand and not make an issue about it. "Ha, uncle, you wan whine me ni? Wetin you mean by say you no carry money? Meaning, mister, are you trying to be smart with me? What do you mean you don't have money with you?" the bus conductor said, sounding aggressive already. "Thief, 419, one passenger said. "No mind them, that's what them they do," another passenger said. "It means that is what such thieves and con people do." Tade began to sweat profusely as some small group of the passengers in the bus began to rain insults on him, whilst others tried to plead on his behalf. "Uncle, no be me you go run street to. I go gather boys and we go beat you wella when we reach the next bus stop," the bus conductor said, threatening to get touts to beat up Tade when they get to the next bus stop. Now, all the while, there was a young lady sitting close to Tade in the bus. She had been quiet all along and had not said anything amidst the commotion in the bus. But when she heard the conductors threaten that he was going to beat Tade, she spoke up. Oga conductor, e no reach like that now. You beat am, no go make the money wey no dey him hand already before appear, the young lady said. It shouldn't get to that extent. Beating him up would not make the money which wasn't there in the first place to miraculously appear, was what she said to the conductor in pidgin English. Then, the young lady asked the bus conductor how much Tade's fare was. He told her and she paid for it, settling the issue and restoring calmness to the bus. Tade thanked the young lady and asked for her name and mobile number so he would be able to find her later to repay her for her help and kindness. The young lady told Tade that her name was Fola. However, she refused to give him a mobile number and told him that he does not have to repay her, and alighted from the bus. Another day, Tade was driving and was on his way out when he accidentally bumped on Fola walking along the road. This was 5 weeks after the bus incident. He stopped and offered to give Fola a lift. She objected at first, but he insisted and she eventually entered. Tade thanked Fola once again for helping him with the bus incident and for saving him from the embarrassment. They had an interesting conversation as they drove, and when Tade requested for Fola's number again, she willingly gave him this time. From that day, Tade and Fola became friends and got closer as they spoke on the phone and chatted for long hours every day. Although they had only physically met twice at that time, Tade began falling in love with Fola and Fola felt the same way. By this time, Tade had already begun his relationship with Tayo Durojaye, and they were 2 months in already. But he was already regretting his decision to date and marry Tayo even before he met Fola. Tayo was a very rude girl who spoke rudely to everyone she considered beneath her and treated them very poorly. One time, Tade saw her slap and kick a makeup artist stroke wardrobe manager for making an error. Another time, she poured water on her driver, claiming that he did not clean her car properly. She even slapped the cook in his parents' house when she visited because she found a fish bone in her meal that the cook did not properly debone. Tade complained about Tayo's attitude to his father and told him he could not marry Tayo any longer. But his father said that there was no backing out, threatening to disown him if he did. One day, Tade was compelled to visit Tayo's house, and that was when he learned that Fola was Tayo's half-sister. Many years ago, when Tayo's father was younger, he had fallen in love with Fola's mother. But just as Tade's father is compelling Tade to marry Tayo, Tayo's grandfather had also compelled his son Durojaye, Tayo's father, to marry Tayo's mother because he owes Tayo's mother's family an extremely large amount of money he could not pay back. Tayo's father married Tayo's mother, but he still secretly met with Fola's mother, his true love, and later it resulted to a secret child. That secret child was Fola. Tayo's mother did not conceive early enough after marriage, so Tayo came much later, and between Fola and Tayo was an age gap of 4 years. Years later, Fola's mother died in an auto accident. Fola was 16 then, and that was when Tayo's father, also Fola's father, brought her to his home to live with them and revealed to his wife, Mrs. Durojaye Williams, that he had a secret child outside their marriage. Tayo's mother was angry at her husband for this, but she allowed Fola stay with the condition that the public must not know that Fola was his illegitimate child. Tayo's father accepted his wife's condition because all he wanted was for Fola to have a home and for him to watch over her. Besides, it was Tayo's mother's family who was wealthy and who made Chief Duro Jaye the wealthy man he is today. So, his wife, Tayo's mother, called the shots in the house. Fola was warned never to mention to anybody that she was the popular and renowned Duro Jaye Williams' daughter. And whilst Tayo went to the best and most expensive school in the States, Fola was enrolled in a random and less expensive school. Tayo and her mother treated Fola in the same way they treated the maids and the servants in their house. So, on that day that Tade learnt that Fola was Tayo's half-sister, he had visited Tayo in their house for the first time because she complained to his father that he was avoiding her and his father had compelled him to see her. The cook was busy in the kitchen and the other maids had gone to the markets. Tayo had called Fola to come serve her and her guests wine, and that was when Tade saw Fola in the house. He asked Tayo who Fola was to them, and Tayo told him to ignore her because she was nobody. Later that evening, when Tade got home, he called Fola and asked her to explain to him what she was doing in Chief Duro Jaye Williams' house and her relationship with the family. Fola lied that she was only their maid, but Tade did not believe her and reminded her that the second time that they had met, she told him that her name was Fola Duro Jaye, though she had omitted the Williams. A mere maid does not go about bearing the name of her employee, Tade said. Then, Fola lied again that she was just a relative of the Duro Jaye Williams. Tade still figured out that Fola was lying to him. When we met the second time and had a conversation, you introduced yourself as Fola Duro Jaye, not Fola Williams, which is the family's last name. And I can say for sure that it was not a slip of the tongue because you were meeting me properly for the first time and had no idea that we were going to meet again and become close. If you were a relative, you wouldn't use Duro Jaye, which is Chief Duro Jaye's first name, as your last name. You would have told me Fola Williams. So, tell me the truth now, Tade demanded. Fola knew that Tade was a smart man and had caught a lie. She also could not hide the truth from him because of how she feels about him. So, she admitted that she was Chief Duro Jaye's daughter, but an illegitimate child. She told him her story, but then she came to the realization that they could not be together now that she knows that he was the man her whole family had been talking about, the man that would be marrying her half-sister, Tayo. Tade explained to Fola that he does not like Tayo, let alone loves her, and that he had only accepted to the marriage at first because he had fallen in love with her voice and was obsessed with her voice. He was also not in a relationship then, and when his father begged him to do so for the sake of their family business, he had decided to give it a try and had thought that it would go well because of Tayo's false personality in public. He confessed to Fola that he now regretted that he accepted. Tade was an extremely good-looking man and was also very intelligent. Tayo had fallen for him the first day she set her eyes on him at a family function. He was the kind of man she admires and wants. Though he was just a mere artist to her and was not into his family business, he was still the son of the popular and renowned Chief Bamidele of BAM Pharmaceuticals, and she liked all of that. Tayo told her mother about her desire to have Tade as a man and begged that her mother makes it happen. Now, Chief Bamidele was experiencing some difficulties with his business and he was working hard to fix it before it gets to the public. He spoke to Chief Durojaye about it, and that was when Mrs. Durojaye saw it as a perfect opportunity to matchmake Tayo and Tade. She compelled her husband to ask Chief Bamidele to agree to their children getting married before they would help him and solidify their business alliance. Tade was jerked back to reality and the present when his name was called. We are glad to announce to you all that our children, Tayo Durojaye Williams and Tade James Bamidele, are engaged and will be tying the knots 3 months from now. Chief Bamidele made the announcement. Tade walked up to the stage and stood beside Tayo, faking a smile as everyone at the event walked up to them one after the other to congratulate them. He felt a heavy weight on his shoulders as he stood beside Tayo, pretending to smile as cameras flashed and people offered their congratulations. He glanced over at Tayo, who was basking in the attention, seemingly oblivious to his discomforts. Deep down, Tade knew he couldn't go through with this marriage because his heart belonged to Fola. Then, the younger folks at the event started asking that Tayo perform one more of her songs before she leaves the stage. Tayo stood there smiling but reluctant to perform again. She told them that she was done for the night, but the young folks, who made a great percentage of the crowd, kept asking for one more performance to celebrate her engagement. One more, one more, one more, they chanted. Then Tayo agreed. Meanwhile, Tade had left the stage so Tayo could carry on with her performance. Instead of going back to his previous seat where his family and friends were also seated, Tade walked towards the back, away from the main events. He needed some time alone to think things through. As he slowly walked towards the back, he could hear Tayo's melodious voice as she sang, the only thing he loves about her. Her voice somehow manages to calm him down every time he is tense, and even now, it does. Tade got to the backstage area. He saw 2 huge men who were apparently bouncers standing and keeping guard at the door which led to a room. But the men at that moment seemed to be lost also in the excitement of the night and Tayo's voice, from the way they stretched forward their neck to get a glimpse of what was happening front stage. And so, they did not see Tade walked into the room. Tade only walked into the said room because he believes that the room was empty and only contained stack of instruments and costumes. He chose to go into the room because he wanted to be able to rant to inanimate objects and not be termed as someone who was going mad if he was outside in the open and someone had seen him. However, Tade got the shock of his life when he entered the said room and saw who he least expected to see there and what it is the person was doing. The person in the room was Fola. Fola was singing. It is actually Fola who is the one singing the real song Tayo was performing outside. Fola also was shocked because she did not expect anyone to walk in, let alone for the person to be Tade. But in order not to ruin Tayo's performance, she maintained composure and continued singing. Soon, the song came to an end and Tade could hear the crowd outside cheering as usual. Well, the truth is that Fola is the real and original voice behind Tayo Durojaye's Williams songs. Fola could sing and is very talented. Tayo, on the other hand, is not talented at all, but wanted to be a star. And with the help of her mother as usual, they forced Fola to write and sing the songs Tayo poses and lies to the public that she writes and sings. On her music videos, Tayo only lip-sync to the music. And as people grew to love the voice and requested for live performances, They devised a means for Fola to sing secretly backstage while Tayo performs openly and continues to lip sync. When the whole thing first began, Chief Durojaye tried to stop it, but his wife threatened to deal with him and ruin him if he tries to expose or stop them, because she made him who he is, as she would always claim. And so the whole thing went on for years. After Fola was done singing, Tade pulled her and asked to be sure about what he had just found out. Was she really the one behind the angelic voice all the while? Fola, having been caught red-handed and right in the act by Tade, could not deny the truth before him. Then you should be the one the world knows. You should be the one outside now, receiving all the shares and applause and accolades. You are the one with the real talent, Tade said. Fola explained everything to him. My stepmother threatens to deal with me and ruin my father if I reveal the truth to the public, Fola said. The days that followed, Tade kept asking Fola to come out to the public, speak up and reveal the truths whenever they spoke on phone or chatted using their mobile phones. But Fola could not. At least I get to sing and the people that hears my voice are happy. I am content with that, even if they don't know me, Fola said to Tade. Tayo had 2 more performances at other events after that one, and every time, Tade would ask Fola to leave the backstage and reveal herself to the public. Fola stopped paying Tade any attention as he would not let her be regarding the issue. The proposed wedding date between Tade and Tayo was now very close and was now in 3 weeks' time. Tayo had a performance. It was going to be her last performance as a single lady and before she ties the knots with Tade. As usual, the crowd cheered and sang along as Tayo performed. Then, something appeared on the huge screen on the stage. It showed Fola backstage singing. The crowd paused, surprised to see another face on the screen. Who is that, they wondered, and what song is she singing? Tayo also paused, puzzled by the crowd's sudden silence. She turned around and was shocked to see Fola behind the screen. As Tayo paused, the crowd heard Fola singing the song that Tayo was pretending to sing. That was when the crowd realized that the voice they had thought was Tayo's own was actually Fola's voice. Fola was lost in the song, singing passionately and looking very natural. But she suddenly stopped when she realized something was wrong outside and that Tayo was not lip syncing as usual, as she could see from the small screen in front of her, provided for her to watch Tayo on stage in order to be in sync with Tayo's performance. What had happened was that before the events of that day started, Tade had pretended to be one of the technical crew. His cousin Jide, who normally does this job, was contacted to handle the technical work for the events. Tade explained everything to Jide and asked for his help. Before the events began, they had secretly planted a camera in the room backstage that Tayo had requested from the organizers. Tade knew why Tayo requested for the room. With that camera, they were able to interrupt the show and show Fola in action to the public. Jide was behind the screen and managed the transition to make it happen. With the truth revealed, the crowd began to boo Tayo and threw stones and other objects at her. It made the headlines the next day on different newspapers. Tayo Durojaye Williams, the con artist. Tayo Durojaye Williams, a liar with no talent. Tayo Durojaye deceived her fans. It went on and on. TV stations and blogs spoke about it. Tayo hid at home due to the shame and embarrassment. Her mother on the other hand, was angry and threw Fola out in the streets. Mrs. Durajaye Williams tried to use her influence to sue the organizers of the show and the technical people, but her lawyer advised her against it, telling her that it was a bad move which would make things worse for Tayo. Having nowhere else to go, Fola called Tade for help. Tade picked her up and took her to his home. With the public having learnt about the truth and Fola, other big record labels started coming for her, begging to have her be part of their record label. Fola became a celebrity overnight. Amongst these record labels was a record label called Show Giants. It was a really big record label who had dealings and artists within the country and both from other countries. Fola settled for Show Giants and became one of their top artists. She had many mega and mind-blowing performances within Nigeria and in other countries, and also had many interviews. She became a big fish and very wealthy. She used her influence and wealth to help her father, who ventured into other businesses and opened his own company, so he wouldn't have to rely on his wife's family business and get taunted by his wife anymore. Fola was grateful to Tade, who helped her to get to where she is now despite her fears. Most importantly, she was also in love with him and was no longer scared to express it. Tade and Fola got married in a grand wedding after calling off his engagement with Tayo. His father, Chief Bamidele, no longer pressured him to marry Tayo after learning the truth, and because he no longer needed them to help his business stand, as Fola's influence and connection helped him instead. Tade also flourished in his painting business. His paintings and artworks also got important recognitions. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story and have learned a thing or two from it. I would love to know. Please leave a comment. Thank you for listening and see you in my next story. Bye.